Welcome to this edition of Transformation Thursday. As always, we are excited. We're delighted that you are here with us, and we're just thankful. We're thankful for the privilege of sharing this thought with you and sharing this platform with you. So we are very, very appreciative. On last week, we talked about pivoting. And one of the things that we highlighted, we talked about the dangers of not pivoting, the dangers of missing out on your moment and missing out on your opportunities. And we discussed some of those dangers. The first danger we said was you die outside of your purpose when you don't make the necessary redirections, if you will. We also said that you missed the opportunity to add value to someone else's life. And then finally, we said there's lost legacy. If you can recall in our conversation last week, Mordecai, who was Esther's cousin, suggested to her that if she did not move in the moment, that she would die and that her family would die. In other words, he said that there would be a generational curse rather than a generational blessing. And we want to pick up from that conversation on last week. We want to dig into one of those dangers. That danger is legacy. Legacy. Today, we want to discuss legacy. Legacy. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children. Legacy. What are you leaving behind? What are you preparing for the next generation? What are you preparing for the next generation?" Today, we want to talk about legacy. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited today that I have joining me again, Dr. Christopher Chappell. Welcome, Dr. Chappell.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. I certainly appreciate the invite to be here.
As always, it's such a treat to speak with you, such a treat to hear your thoughts. And so I want to just start the conversation off just by asking you, how do you see legacy?
Wow, that's a loaded one, because there are two ways that we can view legacy. We can be building legacy for something that's good, fruitful, and powerful, or we can be actually degrading and tearing down something that had potential to be good, fruitful, and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So legacy is all about what you're leaving or passing on, if you will. And it's on us to always make sure that we're passing on something that can continue to perpetuate the goodness that God intended for our lives. Now, either way we go, we're going to leave something. And too many times, what some experience is the passing on of a void, and that void is normally called trauma, where it was something that they missed out, that wasn't passed on, that wasn't fulfilled in somebody else's lifetime, who was intended or placed there to impact their lives to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
We always think about where we start the race. So it's two ways. It's two ways to look at it. You could be building or you can be destroying, but either way it goes, legacy is about what you're passing on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. And that brings me to this point right here. I started looking at this book and the book is called What Would the Rockefellers Do? So I started reading this book and really explored it. And it's an interesting book. It really talks about wealth, but it kind of it takes you into a number of directions as well. So the book compares two wealthy families, the Vanderbilt family and the Rockefeller family. The Vanderbilt family, as it moved from one generation to the next, that next generation, in essence, lost all the wealth. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the Rockefeller family, they had set up such a system where from generation to generation, wealth kept moving from generation to generation because they had set up such a strong system. And so when I look at that and think about what you just said, there's an opportunity or there's where we can lose or we can, the things that we're passing on could be negative or we can forego things. And then there's an opportunity where the things that we're passing on are positive, that they are uplifting. And if we structure it right, it could be perpetual, moving from generation to generation to generation. And so when we think about what you just stated in terms of the negative, some of the negative aspects of leaving bad things behind, I think of generational curses. I think of how we keep falling in situations or falling in wrong mindsets or whatever it may be where we are, where that thing keeps lingering on. Maybe someone treated you wrong and instead of you breaking that cycle, it ends up passing it on and it keeps running and running. But then on the opposite end of that is where we're leaving something positive behind, where we're building on something and pouring into whether it's spiritual things or developing businesses that can be perpetual and continue to flow. So there's two unique aspects. Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting thing. And so it should drive us to think about what are we really leaving behind? And also, how do we live our lives such that we are leaving something positive behind?
This brings up a thought for me that I was like really recently just thinking about. And it may not be a unique thought, but however, when you talked about the two different families, one lost it in a generation or so. We have to understand that when we are the beneficiary of legacy because of what a benefactor has done for us, we have a responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. Too often, that responsibility tends to, or that stewardship over the blessing tends to be mishandled because we lack awareness. Mm-hmm. Awareness around what it took for you to be in that position now, mm-hmm. right? A lot of times we don't have the luxury of seeing all the details. Think about it. It's just in so many ways. Here's the issue of awareness that the Bible teaches, or the teaches to be aware. It tells us that we ought to meditate on the word morning, noon, and night.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right? That's because we need to be aware of the blessing that and the benefit that he said, I'll load you every day up, mm-hmm. With up every day, right?
Right.
That's so it can be top of the mind, and in the consciousness of our daily activity. You are a blessing, and you are blessed to be a blessing.
Right.
Right. Now, the second thing about that is not realizing what others have to go through to place us in that position, mm-hmm. is that Jesus had people that was rolling with him every single day, but they didn't realize the stress and the turmoil, so they were able to sleep. Mm-hmm. Right. It wasn't until he was gone that they start to tap into like what I can really do. Mm-hmm. But it was only after that awareness. Remember, there was a period where they were They were just lost and beat up. But they were renewed at a point. It was like, okay, it's time to get back to work. But sometimes some folks never get back to work. And if we're honest, we all probably been at that point where we had an opportunity, we had some blessings in our hand, and we squandered because either the lack of awareness or because of the pain of not understanding what it took to be in that position to do something with it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Two things I gathered out of what you just stated, and there's a lot there that's built into that, but I just want to unpack two things that you pointed out. The first one is that of truth, right? So when we are encouraged through the word to study the word day and night, to meditate on it and learn thereby, we're really focusing on the truth, because so often we get so many things poured into us that are negative, and that we grab hold to the lies that come our way. We grab hold to the lies that say you can't, the lies that says that you are this or that you are that. We grab hold to those lies and we remain stuck, right? And so the importance of the truth flushes that out as we begin to believe the truth, and believe the truth about ourselves, believe the truth about who we are designed to be, the purpose that we have in our lives. Then we can better move into what has been given to us. And so I think that's a critical, very critical piece that you highlighted right there. And I think about the story again of Esther, and notice and just thinking about what was shared with her when Mordecai pointed out that if you don't do this, you're going to die. And not only will you die, but your family will die. Now, she was comfortable. She was comfortable. Now, everybody else was not, but she was comfortable. She could have stayed comfortable, right? She could have stayed right there. But when that word hit, and it was like, well, you're going to die. Don't think that you won't die as well. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. We can't be so comfortable. We can't be so comfortable that we take our eyes off of everyone else. We can't be, she could have stayed comfortable in the palace, in her position, right? But she would have died there. She would have died out of purpose. In addition to that, her family would have died. And so the key is that you can't find yourself so comfortable in whatever state you're in that you take your eyes off of the needs of other people. Legacy, to me, is about keeping your eyes on the needs of those coming behind you, keeping your eyes on the needs of others coming behind you, and preparing a way, an opportunity for others.
My God, I don't know a better way to state that than the way that you just stated that. Because here's the trick of the enemy. In order to destroy legacy, he tried to get you to focus on you or the individual when it's really about the team.
There you go. Absolutely.
Oh, one thing that we have, like, sometimes there's a problem with, and that kills legacies for sure, is that every generation, most folks are starting over.
Absolutely. That's it. Because
somebody only focused on them in the moment, when they wasn't focusing on the entire group and what's to come after, the next generation and the next generation. But boy, when we operate in that type of power, when we stop thinking about only I and start building for us, oh my God, how things change, how things move. We begin to build something that is so amazing and so powerful that nothing can destroy it, because it's built on the right foundation. That morning, noon, and night, I'm focused. that sacrifice and selflessness. Our focus, the cross was about being selfless. And when we become selfless and step into what he really called us to do, it's impossible to leave a bad legacy.
Man, that's good. I love that.
Impossible.
I love that. I love that. You know, going back to the book I shared a little bit earlier, when you watch the Vanderbilt family and you read that story of how the next generation literally lost it all, right? The next generation lost it all. Why? Because they took their eyes off of who's coming next. They took their eyes off of who's coming next. But the Rockefeller family, just totally opposite. They kept their eyes on everybody coming after me. And that's the thought that I want us to carry as we focus on legacy and continue to think about legacy. What are you leaving behind? Or are you focused on the next group coming behind you? Are you focused on how to ensure that I'm depositing not just wealth from a material standpoint, but that I'm depositing truth, that I'm depositing faith, that I'm depositing obedience and showing up? What are you leaving behind? You have an opportunity. You can leave behind the negative or the positive. Death and life. Death and life lies in the power of the tongue. It lies also in what you choose to do. Dr. Chappelle, I want to allow you to leave us with some closing thoughts before we go into affirmation.
I want to leave you with this thought. Pass the baton.
Oh, that's good.
That's simply it. And make sure that you are in the right position to grab hold and to pass it off. You do those two things, everything is going to work out well. I assure you.
I love it. I love it. So on this Transformation Thursday, I want you to affirm with me and with Dr. Chappelle. Affirm that I will fulfill my purpose. Affirm that I will not miss my moment. Affirm that I will leave a legacy and I will pass the baton. See you next week on Transformation Thursday.